Greetings, mod lovers across the universe. DW here, along with no one else, because this is Mod Explaining. In the last episode, I ended up showing off loads of programs made by other people that were in discs. In this video, I'm going to try and explain some of the programs that I haven't actually explained from the last episode that I said I was going to explain in this video. If you haven't watched the last episode, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm on about. So you might want to end up watching the last episode in order to understand what I'm actually talking about. But without further ado, let's begin. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to start off with is this. First program I'm going to start off with is, albeit disc, is a disc called npaintpro. So now if I end up going into CD disc, also like before, it also ended up telling you who ended up making this program. Some guy called Fingers. God knows. Again, I'm called DW13. At this point, judging someone else by their name is not my thing. Anyway, in this disc there's actually 3 programs. Now, 2 of them I've actually figured out what they do. One of them I haven't. This one in the middle here, I'm still not sure what it actually does. I kind of have a tiny bit of an idea what it does, but not enough to show to you, the viewers. So I'm just going to end up showing one certain program. The first one I'm going to show is npaintpro, the main program. If you can't tell it's the main program, it's named after the disc, so that's how I know it's the main program. So if I'm doing npaintpro, it ends up coming up with this. It ends up coming with npaintpro and then minus A and minus T and then path. That's basically saying that you can end up naming a certain thing. And if I end up doing npaintpro again, there's 2 choices. You can end up doing minus A and minus T. I'm going to do minus T. At the moment this probably doesn't make any sense, but there's 2 different versions of npaintpro, and I'm going to end up using the minus T version. And now if I end up giving it a name, DW, that's what it means by path, by the way. Like when you end up making a program, you obviously need to name it something. So I'm just going to call this that. It ends up coming with a screen. Just click on it, and now we're in. And now, it's basically this program is kind of like a painting program where you can end up painting, as you can see here, where there's loads of different types of colors. There's loads of stuff you can do, and there's loads of, and you can end up getting rid of it obviously as well. Let's see, get rid of it. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. But anyway, getting on to the task at hand. Now the first thing I'm going to show you about this program is the menu bar. Unlike now on a normal computer, albeit I think on an advanced computer, usually there is a program that ends up letting you paint, I believe. But with this one, it doesn't. But with that one, it doesn't have a menu bar. With this one, it actually does. So first, we're going to end up going into the menu bar. I'm going to end up and there's loads of different selections. I'm going to end up going into painting, and there's a normal paint tool. We're already in that. Whoops, I haven't got nothing selected there. We're already in. There's different types of modes you can end up clicking with this setting here. There's the painting mode, which we're already in, by the way. Was just normal painting mode. There's the, hold on. There's the brush mode, where you can end up making it bigger, as you can see here. You can also end up setting the certain size. As you can see, it says size 3. If I end up pressing number 7, it ends up making it much bigger. If I end up pressing it up to 9, makes it much bigger, and as you can see, it actually changes there. So it makes it so if you wanted this whole screen to end up being covered up by a color, a certain color, you can end up actually doing that, as you can see right here. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and obviously, if you want to end up reducing the size, you can You can obviously do that, as you can see here. I'm just taking it away. I haven't actually ended up adding black. Now I have, but hold on. If I end up just getting rid of all this, so you can end up making. So if you don't want to end up spending hours upon hours just writing in normal mode, hold on, coloring in normal mode. If I just go back into here, go into this, press that. If you don't want to spend hours just painting in a normal mode, having to cover up the entire screen, if you want it all to be red, say, you can end up just just pressing that and end up choosing the biggest size, and that's it. Oh, hold on. If I also end up doing, hold on, I'm going to put different colors on here, and you'll understand in a second. Okay, the next selection, if we're going into painting again, and end up doing, I think that says parental. I have no idea. And at the moment, as you can see here, the color we have selected is actually green. If I end up actually clicking on the color, you can end up actually it ends up letting you select that certain color without having to go all the way over here, which is actually quite cool. Another thing is, hold on, there's also flood. So say if I end up going to, okay, I've chosen purple, and I want to end up making all this purple. Instead of having to just slowly write it out to make sure it's exactly the same, I could just do this, as you can see here. I can just covering it up and change the different color. Whoops. I can end up just changing the color with this, which is actually quite cool. Now, another thing is, hold on, if I end up just doing this, there's also the move tool. If you end up pressing this, you can end up actually moving it. It's actually quite cool. It ends up actually working quite well. So if you want to actually move the painting you've made, you can end up actually doing that. So you can end up moving it anywhere around the screen. I'm going to just put it back to where it was before. And now, hold on, there's two more modes. There's, clear image mode. I'm going to put Y for yes. Okay. Yeah, that's the only problem I've found with that. The clear screen mode, if I just do this again, the clear screen mode doesn't work that well. Whenever you actually clear screen, press yes, and end up clicking on it just to paint, it ends up glitching out. I don't know why it does that. It's just a glitch. What else? Let's see here. There's also select, where, oh wait, hold on. Let's get out of select for a second. Okay, so let's say I end up having, I'm going to end up putting a brown smudge right here. I'm going to end up doing a select. Okay, so now if I end up pressing here and press here, I've actually highlighted this certain area. So now I can end up just, say if I wanted to right click, I can end up now either cutting this, copying this, pasting this, or clearing this. I'm going to say cut it. Okay, and I'm going to end up moving there to the side. And now I'm going to end up pasting it. Now this is also glitchy. I don't know why it does this, but apparently you can't actually paste on this either. You can copy and also cut, but when it comes to pasting, it actually does glitch. Also, hold on, if I end up doing select, and now boop, boop. Say if you wanted to get rid of this, all you need to do is just press hide. Okay. Also, if you end up doing a certain color, whoops. That's going to end up, I can just get rid of that. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry that keeps flashing, by the way. I don't know why it does that. It's kind of glitchy. Let's see here. What? Select? Oh, it was already in select mode. No, wait. What I want... what I want now is paint. And then I'm going to end up doing select. Boop, boop. And as you can see here, and I've got that. I don't think it actually clears the screen. I think you need to first copy it or something and then clear it. Or not. I don't know. Actually, I know. Hold on. Clear. That's how you end up clearing it. You don't actually clear it normally. But that's how that works. Clear that. Okay, so that's everything in the painting option. Now if we end up going into the text option, there's two options. You're going to end up doing text, where you end up having this here and you end up actually typing stuff out. Also, if you end up selecting a certain color, that's what the color of text will be. Also, you can end up actually right-clicking it clicking on a certain screen in order for this to, work. Albeit, not work. In order for it to go to a certain area where to put the text, as you can see right here. Okay, I'm going to change the color now. As you can see here. And you're going to end up just having text on screen. And hold on, the next bit, if I end up going to text again, and there's another option, there's also text paint. So say if I end up choosing a certain color. Now at the moment I don't think I can end up typing. No, I can't. But if I actually wanted to change any of the color of this text, I can just end up clicking on it. As you can see right here. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's already that color. I was thinking, why is it changing color? So you can end up changing the color. You can also get rid of it just by right-clicking them. Left-clicking them is how you end up adding the color. Right-click is how you get rid of the text. Just going to get rid of all this. Okay, and now I'm going to end up get rid of that mode again. And now there's also displays. There's only two different types of displays, I believe. Ah, yes. Ah, I get it now. Okay. I was actually going to show this later on, but okay. Now, if I end up now... Hold on. I'm going to end up doing this, and then go into here, then left. Okay. Now, you notice that the background just changed. Now, notice that, say, I left-click on this, and it ended up selecting that as green. If I end up right-clicking on another color, it ends up selecting it right there. So at the moment, the two colors I've got selected are green and yellow from left and right. So so if I now do this, if I end up doing left-click, it now ends up changing, albeit left slide, blah blah blah. It ends up changing it to green. If I end up doing right, blah 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 blah, it ends up changing it to yellow. So you can actually end up changing the screen with this. Also, hold on. I now want to end up changing this back, so I'm going to end up doing this. And now I'm going to end up doing... Oh yeah, there's also help. It also ends up showing you these certain types of things. Oh yeah, I was going to bring this up later on, but you can actually end up, instead of just constantly having to go to the menu, you can end up actually using certain buttons to do certain commands. I'll end up showing that later on. As you can see there, I end up going to move mode, not by going in there, but just by pressing M. But I'll go to that in a second. Next thing is, okay, so that's the help mode. And just press any key to exit. So that basically shows you what buttons you can press in order to get certain settings. Oh, also one last thing. For each button you end up it ends up actually telling you what it does. So for brush, ends up showing you, yeah, and that's what I told you. Changes the blah 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 size. You know what I mean. Okay, so now if I end up doing this, space, and now all that's left is file. Now there's only 3 things in here. There's exit, which it should be obvious what it does. Go back in here. There's a save, which is glitched. I don't know why it doesn't work. Don't know why. And then there's print. Now at the moment this doesn't work. This actually does do something, but at the moment it doesn't work because we actually haven't shown that yet. But that's everything in the menu. Now hold on. Now I've mentioned that with H, I'm going to actually press H in order to show this up. There's loads of different buttons you can end up pressing instead of just going into the menu. Now, here's some of the buttons I can end up showing you. Say, like, Control ends up bringing up the menu that involves around the file. As you can see here, it brings up the file menu. And Alt ends up bringing up the painting menu. Now, what else? There's also the arrow keys. Notice these things at the bottom, X and Y. You're noticing that this screen is actually, although it is big, you may want it to be bigger. If you want to actually move this around, say, hold on, I'm actually not making this as clear as I should be. Say if I put down a certain amount of, okay, I'm going to end up putting down a certain painting here. Now, without having the moving tool on, if I end up now doing this, there's actually more to this screen than meets the eye. So you end up having a much bigger painting. It'd be way too big to see on screen, but it can be bigger. So now if I end up just going back, hold on. Apple juice not sponsored, okay. Okay. There's also, what other buttons are there? I'm just looking at this ginormous list. Oh yeah, I've already mentioned this. With H, you end up going to the menu that ends up showing you all the information you need in order to use these buttons. What else? H, get out. There is also blah 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 blah. Hit on colored. Oh yeah, I've already shown this. If I end up saying blah 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 blah. I'm going to quickly get rid of all of this white. Say if I end up having... Hold on. I'm just right now focusing on getting rid of all this white. Now, I've already shown you if I end up left and right clicking, and if I end up going to those, it ends up changing that. But if I end up actually doing, say, Q if I end up pressing Q, it ends up going to the left side of this and ends up changing it to yellow or whatever color you've got selected there. If I end up pressing W, it ends up changing it to the right color you ended up selecting. So, and I can end up just quickly saying them back. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Soldier on! Anyway, now I'm going to right click that just to get rid of that. I'm going to end up going back to normal. Okay, what else have we got? Oh yeah, there's the B button, which should be obvious. It's the brush, which ends up making things bigger. Hold on. And as before, you can obviously select the color, albeit select the size. That is goddamn ginormous. Okay, and just quickly do that. Press off B. What else is there? There's loads of buttons you can end up using, by the way. I'm just going through a list I've written down just to show you how many buttons you have. Oh yeah, hold on. As before, you can end up using if you end up pressing P, you can end up doing this, where it ends up selecting the certain color. As you can see, the thing I've got selected here, it's, I think, purple. Now it's blue. Purple, blue, just by clicking on the colors here instead of colors here. What else is there? There's also, oh, there's F, where it's flood. Hold on, so if I end up doing this, I can end up just changing this to this color now, just by pressing that. I'm going to change off flood. What else is there? I'm saying a mouthful today, by the way. I've already said press M and you can end up moving the picture you have around. Press off M. What else? Oh yeah, the T button. Where, hold on, I'm going to have another sip of apple juice. There's the T button. We can end up just typing out random text and selecting it, blah 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 blah. End up just doing this. Okay. And that should be obvious. Press off T. Whoops. Okay, I just realized. The one thing I'd like to mention is that obviously, seeing that you're typing this out, you can't actually end up pressing T just to get out of that command. So you need to end up just going back to one of these commands here. You actually have to go back to the menu. So I'm going to go back to the paint menu. Okay, paint mode. Okay, you can also press Y in order to get the text paint mode, where you're going to end up just changing the thing right here. And also I can end up just getting rid of them. Although interestingly, if you end up actually putting the color back, didn't mention this before, if you end up putting the color back, it ends up bringing the text back. So that's kind of cool. But I'm just going to get rid of all this text again. Diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo-doo. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to end up... What else? There's loads of buttons and loads of stuff you can do. Oh yeah, there's Z, which should end up clearing screen. Press yes. But as before, it is glitch, so I wouldn't recommend using it that much. I probably just use these to end up getting rid of the thing for you. What else? I'm going through a lot of stuff already. Most of the stuff I've written down took me a while to write, so I'm surprised I'm going so fast. Oh yes, I remember this. Oh my god. Okay, I've already shown you the blah 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 select. Hold on, I'm going to place down certain colors. Do. Okay, so I end up pressing S, ends up bringing up the console select blah blah blah. End up pressing here and end up pressing here. I'm right clicking on them, left clicking on them to select that. End up right clicking and blah blah blah. If you want to end up, instead of doing the menu here, you can end up actually using certain buttons to do that. Say if I wanted to end up, I'm just looking at the buttons here. Where are they? If I wanted to, where are they? There's certain buttons you need to end up using. I think it's Z, X. What else is there? There's Z, there's X, there's... Let me just show you. Okay, I believe Z ends up clearing it, or is supposed to. X is supposed to cut it, so now if I end up moving this somewhere else... I forget what paste is. What does C do? Oh, C copies it. V just pastes it, but obviously that doesn't work because we've tried to paste it before and it just glitches. Hold on, go back to this. If I end up doing this again, S, boop, boop. And if I end up doing C, that ends up copying it. And if I end up doing V, that's supposed to paste it, but once again, that doesn't work that well. So, hold on. Whoops. Oh, sure, what the hell. So I'm doing S again. Boop, boop. What else? Basically, the main controls are... Hold on, let me quickly look for this. Okay, the main controls are... Actually, why am I even showing this off when I can end up just doing... Hold on, hide. I can end up just using H, seeing that... I've written so much on this bit, because there's so much to explain on this bit. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay, so the main buttons you can end up using is C, that ends up copying it. X, that ends up cutting it. V, that ends up pasting it. Z that ends up clearing it, although you've already seen what that does. You can left click it in order to, you already know that. And, oh yeah, you can also end up moving it around. There is one other thing, hold on. Boop, boop, and I'm going to end up doing blah, blah, blah. If I end up using the arrow keys, I can actually move it around. I'm going to end up doing, okay, I can also end up, say, cut it. Oh yeah, I can also end up clearing my thing of that. I'm going to also end up, yeah, cutting it. I can also end up pasting it, but once again, that doesn't work. There is one last thing I'd like to mention. Now, whoops. One last thing I'd like to mention about this bit, if I end up doing S again, if I end up doing this and this, if I end up, say, if you want to end up getting rid of this without having to press this here, all you need to do is just press tab in order to get rid of the selector thing. But, okay, that's enough of S, I believe, thank God. And that's all of the buttons you can end up pressing in order to do certain things, or at least in this one. So now I'm going to end up exiting this, but as I actually mentioned before, there's actually two different versions of this. There's the T version and there's the A version. Now with the T version, let me go back into it. All you can basically do in this is just paint certain. All you can end up just doing is just painting, just basically painting. That's all you can end up doing. But with the minus A, you can actually end up doing much more cooler things. You can basically, how do I explain this? You can basically animate animations, if that makes any sense. Sorry, apple juice. You can end up doing animation to make this much more cooler. Let me quickly show you, but before I actually show you. Let me quickly show you before I show you. Before I actually show you, seeing that this is actually a bit of a different program, well, it's a different version of the program, there's actually different stuff in it. So if I end up actually going to here, there's actually different stuff in it. Like say if I end up doing this, it ends up having a different background that you can end up working better with. You'll understand why this is here later on, or possibly later on. You can also end up turning off this background. I believe there's two different types of backgrounds. There's the blueprint one, and there's another one, but it looks like it's gone away. That's interesting. I think it's glitched where it's showing the same thing over and over. Yeah, it has. God knows. I think the only way to fix this glitch is by leaving it. Okay. Well, obviously we can't save, so go back in. Boo. I'm pretty sure we can't save. Hold on. Can't save. Can't save. Okay. So now if I end up doing this again, go into display. Okay, here's the thing. Layers on. Okay. Now we've ended up turning layers on. I don't think that actually does anything of importance. I can't see it doing anything of importance. Yeah, this looks exactly the same. There's also this where this makes sense. Okay, so notice here there's actually different types of frames. So say if I end up doing this, and there's basically different types of frames where you can end up doing animations. So now if I end up doing this, there's actually different types of animations where you can end up actually, let me show you quickly, where you can end up actually doing different types of stuff. The first thing I'm going to do is do record. Now on each different types of frames there's loads of different types of stuff. Now if I end up actually pressing off record, if you end up doing, say, I'm on number 4, if you end up doing, say, one thing on one frame, it doesn't happen on any of the others. But with record, if you end up actually doing this, it should end up actually affecting every single one of them. So now if I end up doing this, this here should end up being on every single last one of them. If I end up turning it off now, boop, and end up going back, whoops. As you can see, it's actually ended up actually putting it on every single last one of them. What else? I'm slowly trying to go through this because there's actually a lot to explain just for this bit. What else? Now the next thing is, oh yeah, that's the main stuff there. But say if you wanted to, whoops, what have I done? Oh yeah, there's 3 things here. There's also, say if you wanted to actually play this little thing here, cause if I haven't mentioned before, basically what T ends up doing, it ends up making it so you can end up painting, but with A, minus A, it makes it so you can end up animating. So say if you want to actually run your animation, if I end up pressing play, it's right now actually running it right now, you can see it's in the green, and it's actually running it. It's showing different frames at a time. Actually, let me turn it off. Let me turn it off and let me do one better. Whoops, that's turning it off. Oh wait, turned it off anyway. Okay. I'm gonna end up actually, hold on. First things first, I'm gonna end up doing this. Okay, before I actually, I'm all over the place today, sorry. Okay, say if I end up doing this. I'm gonna move this here. Okay, I'm gonna move, hold on. I'm gonna end up doing record. Okay, so now if I end up doing that, it should be on every last one of them. Boop. Wait, is that join for every last one of them? Damn it, it is. Hold on. I am really bad at this today. I don't know why. Okay. I'm all over the place. I'm really sorry about this. I'm really trying to explain this. Okay. So we have this on number 1. So say if I go to number 2, it already has that. Number 3 has that. Actually, hold on. Let me make this much more easier for me. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to end up adding one color at a time. Whoops. Okay, so this should be 3. This should be 4. This should be 5. I think that's okay. The point is that it ends up changing. Okay, so now if I end up doing play, it should end up, as you can see here, you can end up seeing the changes right here, which makes it a pretty cool animation. Imagine that if you were moving kind of a stickman little thing across the screen, that's how cool that would actually be. It ends up playing this little animation for you. So if I now turn that off, I'll just press on the screen and it should turn it off. That ends up working like that. And now let me go into frames where you can end up doing this. If you end up pressing this, you end up actually going to a certain frame. I'm going to go to 5. If I end up going back to that, I end up and press this. I want to go to 2. It ends up letting you go to that instead of using these. What else? What else? There's also remove. Say if you want to remove any of them. So yeah, I'm going to end up. Yes, I like to remove that. So say if I'm on number 2, it will remove all the way. It will remove all the frames from 3 to 5, just to show you. As you can see, yes, and I'm going to remove that. Now they've been removed, and there's only these 2. But anyway, I think that's everything in here that I've imported. All the new stuff with the new version of this has been shown in the menu, but there's also new buttons and stuff. Now, hold on. I'm going to end up doing Z. I'm going to press Z. Now, you've already seen this, and it didn't work on the old version, but with this one, and if I end up now pressing it, it does actually work. Now, also, hold on. I'm going to get some apple juice again. Not sponsored. Okay. As you can see, that ends up working. Now, if I end up actually, I'm just going to end up showing something else that didn't work before, but now should work. Hold on, press off S. Actually, hold on, press B to make this quicker for me. Yeah. Okay, and now, press S. I'm going to end up selecting, say, just this bit. And now I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to end up doing cut. Move it over to here. No, wait, move it over there. Move it over to here, and then paste using V. That should work. I can end up just clearing that out. Now, if I wanted to end up just, say, copy a certain bit of that. Alright, and now I'm going to end up doing a copy. I think that's, yeah, it is. No, wait, that, hold on. I pressed the wrong one. That's X. That ends up cutting it. If I end up just, whoops. Whatever. My brain is all over the place today. I do apologize. Okay, so now if I end up just... Okay, this time press C, which should end up copying it. I'm going to move this along. Okay, and it should end up copying it. Yeah, it did copy it. And now if I end up just pasting it, it now has copied it across. So you can see that working. Also, if I end up pressing T, Tab, that ends up getting rid of it. Get rid of the selector thing, and now I just press S to get out. So that actually does work, unlike the other one. Now, what else? Oh yeah, there are actually new buttons. Instead of having to use, say, this to go to certain buttons, notice that there's 7 here. If I end up just pressing certain random numbers, if I press 2, 6, 3, 4, 5, it ends up selecting those certain things. There's another way to actually end up going to each and every one of them. If I end up pressing G, I end up getting to go there, end up going to number 1, end up pressing G again, go to number 4. You get the picture, I end up going to certain ones. This program has a lot, long story short. This one little program, albeit technically 2 little programs, but different versions of the same program, has a lot to show. And that's just saying it. Okay. Oh yeah, also, notice how before you can end up actually removing them just by pressing this. If you end up just pressing R, it will remove all the if I end up pressing R, it should end up removing, yeah, 5 to 7. I'm going to end up going yes, and now it's ended up removing those just by pressing, say, blah 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 blah. Just by pressing R. That to remove slides, you just need to end up pressing R. I'm going to remove, say, this. Also, if you're wondering if there's a button to end up recording instead of having to go in here, there is. It's the, I have no idea what the hell you call this. It's kind of this weird line. I'm probably going to end up having a caption showing what the symbol actually is. It's this line kind of going. It's this line that's forward up. That's going. It's leaning to the left. Sorry that I had so much time to say that. Anyway, boop boop boop. Oh, spent so much time trying to say that. Okay. Wow, lots of changed over here. Anyway, so if I now just end up adding that one dot in the corner, it should end up having it's on all of that. Yes, it does. So end up pressing off this, and now if I end up pressing space, the space bar, it should end up actually playing it, as you can see here. This is one weird thing. But as you can see here, a cool little animation, which makes no sense. It looks like, I don't even know what to describe this as. But that ends up working. And what else? I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else I have forgotten. But yeah, that's actually all the buttons there are. Now, ironically, my plan was to... Hold on, why do I have gold in here? What the hell? I don't remember putting gold in my inventory. That's weird. Anyway, my plan was to show the rest of these programs, but sadly, I've just looked at the time, and it spent me... This program is so big, and there's so much to explain in it. I've spent the whole episode just explaining this one singular program. I love that. It's ironic to me. But, seeing that I've spent so much time explaining that one singular program, I'm going to end up just ending it off here. And in the next video, I'm just going to end up explaining the rest of the programs, and I'm also going to end up showing if or if not the stuff over there, the normal turtle, the normal computer, or the advanced turtle actually work with this program or not. So, hope you will enjoy, subscribe, make sure you leave a like, once more, channel, make sense to your friends, your cats, your goldfish, and I guess I'll see you next time. Bye!